Hey everyone, I'm Haeffner here for On the Water, and today we're going to be fishing for albies from the Kayak. So here we have the Native Slayer Propel Max Kayak. It's a 12.5 foot boat. It's got 3 rod holders, which is perfect because when I'm going out fishing for albies or false albacore, I like to bring 3 rods and have 3 specific setups ready for pretty much any kind of bait that they're on. So albies are notoriously finicky, they're really fast moving, and I like to have a couple different options. One of them is going to be a casting egg and a fly. And what this does is basically, a lot of people refer to it as splash and feather, because this casting egg gives you the distance to cast a really small and lightweight fly. So when the albies are on really tiny bait, you're going to want to throw something really lightweight and small, but that casting egg is going to give you the distance as well as act as like a topwater splasher to kind of get them riled up and bring them up towards the surface to chase your bait. So your second option, if you're not using something like a casting egg and a fly, you could also use an epoxy or a resin jig. Those are going to really closely imitate a lot of the small bait that we get here as well. And they're great for castability. Part of the reason that I love using them so much is you can work different levels of the water column. I like to typically work it a little bit subsurface for the albies, but skimming it across the top will just get them going just as much. So that's option number 2 out of the 3. The third option I have is going to be an albie snack or a soft plastic, something of the sort that will get the albies going if they're keyed in on a little bit larger bait. And the reason I like to keep 3 setups is because that way you don't have to tie on or retie if something breaks you off. You have 3 different options ready to cast at pretty much any moment. Another part of why a kayak is so beneficial, especially one with 3 rod holders, is because you can cast from pretty much any direction at any point. So albies, like I said, are notorious for popping up in different places. They'll pop up on the right side of the kayak, and before you even have a chance to pitch a cast out there, they're popping up on the left-hand side. So the best part about that is you can really quickly reel in your offering, pitch it right out to the other side, and little to no maneuverability needed. So the reason I really enjoy a 7-foot rod is pretty much because if you're in a 12 to 13-foot boat, you're going to need a rod that's long enough to help you maneuver around the edges of the kayak. Okay, so albies will find any flaw in your tackle. So if you have a short enough rod, if it's anything shorter than 7 feet, you're not going to be able to bring that rod around the bow or the stern if need be and maneuver with that albie. And that's how they pop off, that's how you lose fish. And that's also how you do some damage to your equipment. So having a 7-foot rod is really key no matter what you're throwing, whether it's jigs, casting egg, or something like an albie snacks or soft plastic. So this kayak's great for kayak fishing. It's super easy to maneuver. You got a dial on your left-hand side that allows you to maneuver with your rudder, and you also have the pedal drive system, which allows you to propel forward and backward really, really easily with little to no need for your hands. So it's a very hands-free kayaking experience, which is great because with albies, you're gonna be ready to cast. So I like to keep a finger on the trigger, which is, I keep my bail flipped, and I actually keep my finger on that line, so I'm ready to cast at a moment's notice. So in the back we have the Yak Attack crate, which is perfect for dry storage and keeping some extra tackle. But also below the seat, you have this really easy to access drawer that allows you to keep all your tackle within arm's reach without having to turn around and stretch out for your tackle. It makes it really easy to tie on if you need to. But that's another part of the reason that I like to keep 3 rods on the boat. So another reason this is such a great boat for albie fishing is because a lot of the time when you're fishing for albies, it's going to be in a lot of wind and heavy chop. So out here we have, 1 to 2, maybe even 3-foot swells, but the albies were biting well in that. So it's a nice wide boat. The wider the boat, the more sturdy it's going to be in the water. It's also 12.5 feet long, but it sits a little bit higher in the water. So you have a really great tracking ability through those heavier waves and higher swells. If you want to learn more about kayak fishing for albies, check out onthewater.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check us out on social media as well. Or you can even subscribe to the magazine. Thanks again for watching Kayak Fishing for Albies with On the Water.